Broomsticks are the most iconic form of magical transport, blending everyday objects with powerful enchantments. At their simplest, they are ordinary brooms imbued with spells that let a rider lift off, steer, and accelerate. Their performance depends on craftsmanship and magical precision, which explains why some models are faster, steadier, or more agile than others. By the Middle Ages, broomsticks had become a widespread way for witches and wizards to travel quickly and discreetly. Early versions were crude and uncomfortable, with uneven twigs and poor balance. Over time, specialist makers refined designs, producing sleeker, faster, and more stable models. The Clean Sweep series introduced reliability, Nimbus brooms redefined speed and status, and the Firebolt became the ultimate racing broom of Harry Potter's era. Outside of sport, broomsticks remain practical for short and medium journeys. They are portable, require no special stations, and allow skilled flyers remarkable freedom. Yet drawbacks are clear. Riders are exposed to weather, cannot carry heavy loads, and risk accidents without training. Their visibility also makes them unsuitable in muggle areas, leading to strict secrecy laws. Despite limitations, broomsticks endure as symbols of freedom, youth, and magical culture, inseparably tied to Quidditch and wizarding tradition. Apparition is the magical skill of teleporting instantly from one place to another, while disapparition describes leaving a location. It is one of the fastest ways to travel, but also one of the riskiest. To succeed, wizards must follow the three principles: destination, determination, and deliberation. The caster must clearly picture their target, focus with intent, and act with precision. Any lapse can cause serious mistakes. Because of the danger, apparition is tightly regulated. Witches and wizards must be at least 17 and pass a ministry test to earn a license. Training begins at Hogwarts in 6th year, with ministry instructors guiding short-range practice. The main hazard is splinching, when body parts are left behind due to poor focus, causing painful or sometimes life-threatening injuries. Apparition is most reliable for short to medium distances. It can transport companions through side-along apparition, but this raises the difficulty. Protective wards also block apparition, which is why secure places like Hogwarts, Gringotts, or the Ministry cannot be entered this way. A unique exception is house elf apparition. Elves can bypass wards entirely, highlighting the differences between their innate magic and wizardry. Apparition remains a mark of magical maturity, fast and convenient, yet always carrying risk. The Floo network is one of the most common and practical transport systems in Wizarding Britain. Overseen by the Ministry of Magic, it links fireplaces across homes, shops, and institutions. To use it, a witch or wizard steps into the fire, drops Floo powder, and clearly states their destination. The flames turn green, and the traveler is pulled through the network to the chosen fireplace. Floo powder, sold in shops like Diagon Alley, is essential for the system. Pronunciation is critical. Mispronouncing a name can misdirect a traveler, as Harry discovered when he ended up in Nocturne Alley instead of Diagon Alley. The system also doubles as communication. A wizard may kneel at the fire, insert their head into the flames, and converse directly with someone elsewhere. The advantages are accessibility and safety. Unlike apparition, it requires no training or license, making it suitable for children and groups. It also allows luggage to travel with passengers. However, fireplaces must be officially registered to join the network, giving the ministry tight control. Hogwarts, for instance, often disconnected or monitored its fireplaces for security. Though sometimes messy, travelers often stumble out covered in soot. The Floo network remains affordable, dependable, and central to everyday wizarding life. Port keys are ordinary objects enchanted to transport anyone who touches them to a fixed destination. They can be anything from a boot to a scrap of rubbish, making them discreet and unlikely to attract muggle attention. When activated, the traveler feels a strong pull behind the navel before being dropped at the destination, often ungracefully. Because of their power, port keys are tightly regulated by the Ministry of Magic. Unauthorized versions could be used to smuggle people or bypass security. Official port keys are most often employed for events requiring mass travel, such as the Quidditch World Cup, where thousands of witches and wizards must arrive without exposing themselves to muggles. These port keys are usually set to activate at scheduled times to coordinate groups. Portkeys may be temporary, working once before fading, or permanent, allowing repeated use. Permanent ones are rare because of the security risk they pose. A notorious example is the Triwizard Cup, secretly turned into a portkey that transported Harry Potter to Voldemort in Goblet of Fire. Although efficient for long distances and groups, portkeys are uncomfortable and disorienting. Despite this, they remain essential for safe, large-scale wizarding travel under strict ministry oversight. The Night Bus is an emergency transport service for witches and wizards who are stranded or in need of fast travel. To summon it, a wizard simply extends their wand arm on the street, and the triple-decker purple bus appears instantly. Invisible to muggles, it can navigate impossibly tight spaces, jump across long distances, and stop abruptly without injuring passengers. Inside, the night bus is magically flexible. During the day, it is fitted with seats, while at night brass bedsteads replace them for overnight journeys. Amenities like hot water bottles and meals are available, though comfort is minimal. The ride itself is notoriously rough, with violent swerves and sudden stops leaving passengers shaken. Despite its discomfort, the night bus fills an essential role. It requires no license, no skill, and can carry multiple passengers along with luggage. This accessibility makes it invaluable for young or untrained witches and wizards. Harry Potter himself used it after fleeing Privet Drive in Prisoner of Azkaban, highlighting its function as a lifeline for those with no other options. Though not a preferred choice for everyday travel, the night bus remains an important backup system, offering safety and speed in moments of desperation. The Hogwarts Express is the Enchanted steam train that carries students between King's Cross Station in London and Hogsmeade Station near Hogwarts. It departs from platform 9 3/4, a hidden platform accessible by passing through the barrier between platforms 9 and 10. The train has been in service since the 19th century, when the ministry standardized student transport to ensure secrecy and safety. Before its adoption, students arrived by broom, cart, or magical creatures, which created chaos and security risks. The ministry acquired a muggle-built train and modified it with powerful spells. These enchantments make the Hogwarts Express invisible to muggles, immune to breakdowns, and large enough to comfortably carry hundreds of students and their luggage. Inside, the train has compartments for groups of students, a trolley service selling wizarding sweets, and enchanted space for belongings. The journey also functions as a social tradition. For many, it is the first chance to meet classmates and form connections, as seen with Harry, Ron, and Hermione on their very first trip. While not the fastest or flashiest transport, the Hogwarts Express is symbolic. It represents continuity, community, and the shared experience of entering the magical world together. The wizarding world has seen several enchanted muggle vehicles, with the flying motorbike and the flying Ford Anglia standing out as the most famous examples. Both began as ordinary machines, but were transformed by advanced enchantments that pushed them far beyond their original design. The motorbike, originally owned by Sirius Black and later entrusted to Hagrid, was modified for flight and combat. It could carry passengers and cargo in a sidecar, accelerate with a Dragonfire booster, and even defend itself with sparks and shielding spells. It became a symbol of protection in Harry Potter's life, carrying him as a baby from Godric's Hollow, and again during the Battle of the Seven Potters. The Ford Anglia, enchanted by Arthur Weasley, was designed more for convenience than battle. It could fly, turn invisible, and carry large loads of luggage and passengers. Its most famous use was when Harry and Ron flew it to Hogwarts after missing the train, though the journey ended in a crash with the Whomping Willow. Afterward, the Anglia developed a degree of independence, retreating to the Forbidden Forest and even rescuing the boys from Acromantulas. Both vehicles highlight the creativity and risks of enchanting Muggle technology. They remain rare, often illegal, but unforgettable examples of magical innovation. Flying carpets are an alternative form of magical transport, common in some parts of the world but banned in Britain. At their core, they are ordinary carpets enchanted to fly, often large enough to carry entire families or heavy loads. Unlike broomsticks, which are designed for individual riders, carpets provide stability, comfort, and group travel, making them practical for long journeys. Historically, carpets were widespread across the wizarding world, especially in Asia and the Middle East, where they remain popular. Their ability to transport multiple people and cargo explains their cultural importance. In many regions, they are seen as more useful than brooms, which emphasize speed and sport. In Britain, however, carpets are classified as muggle artifacts under the Registry of Prescribed Charmable Objects. The Ministry of Magic banned them to enforce secrecy and promote broomsticks as the standard. Despite this, smuggling and illegal use have persisted, suggesting they never fully disappeared from wizarding life. Compared with brooms, carpets are slower and less maneuverable but far more comfortable. Their size, however, makes them difficult to hide, increasing the risk of muggle detection. Though illegal in Britain, flying carpets remain an enduring symbol of magical culture worldwide. The enchanted boats of Hogwarts are a traditional mode of transport reserved for first-year students. After leaving the Hogwarts Express at Hogsmeade Station, newcomers are guided to the Black Lake, where small boats wait to carry them to the castle. Each boat holds around 4 students and glides steadily across the water without oars, propelled entirely by magic. The crossing is more than practical. It is symbolic. The journey gives students their first dramatic view of Hogwarts Castle, usually lit against the night sky. For many, this moment marks their true entrance into the magical world. The tradition has continued for generations, setting the tone for the students' education. The boats themselves are durable and heavily enchanted. They never capsize, regardless of weather, and always reach the boathouse safely. They can also carry unusual passengers without issue. Hagrid, despite his enormous size, once traveled in one alongside students, showing the strength of their stabilizing charms. Though largely ceremonial, the boats serve a practical function in emergencies. During the Battle of Hogwarts, they were used to evacuate younger students across the lake to safety. Quiet, dependable, and timeless, they reflect the understated but enduring magic woven into Hogwarts traditions. Magical creatures have always provided alternative forms of transport in the wizarding world, though their use depends heavily on temperament, training, and cultural attitudes. Among the most famous are Thestrals and hippogriffs, both closely tied to Hogwarts, alongside rarer creatures like abraxans and dragons. Thestrals are skeletal winged horses with leathery wings and a unique link to death. They are invisible to those who have never seen death firsthand, leading many wizards to fear them as omens. In truth, Thestrals are intelligent, loyal, and capable of long-distance flight, even across countries. Hogwarts uses a herd of trained Thestrals to pull its carriages, though most students never see them. They are also remarkably reliable mounts, able to find destinations instinctively. Harry, Luna, and others use them to fly from Hogwarts to the Ministry in Order of the Phoenix. Despite their value, superstition and stigma prevent them from being widely used. Hippogriffs are half-eagle, half-horse creatures known for their pride and need for respect. Approaching one requires a bow, which must be returned before a rider may mount. Once trust is earned, hippogriffs can fly great distances with speed and strength, outpacing broomsticks. Buckbeak, the most famous hippogriff, carried Harry on a breathtaking flight and later saved Sirius Black from capture. However, hippogriffs demand careful handling and proper care, making them unsuitable for casual use. Their visibility also poses risks around muggles. Beyond these, other magical creatures serve transport roles. Beauxbatons, massive winged horses, are strong enough to pull the enchanted Beauxbatons carriage across Europe, though they require experienced handlers and vast resources to maintain. Dragons, while powerful, are unpredictable and dangerous, rarely used outside extraordinary circumstances such as transporting treasure for Gringotts. Centaurs, though physically capable of carrying humans, refuse on principle. Their intelligence and pride prevent them from serving as beasts of burden. Taken together, magical creatures offer unique options that balance power, loyalty, and symbolism. Thestrals embody mortality and resilience, hippogriffs represent humility and courage, and abraxans display sheer strength, yet all share the same limitation. They require respect, skill, and secrecy. For these reasons, magical creatures are celebrated in culture and tradition, but remain rare in everyday wizarding travel. Magical transport differs widely across countries, shaped by culture and tradition. While broomsticks dominate Britain, other nations favor large-scale enchanted vehicles or methods better suited to group travel. Schools, in particular, showcase these regional approaches. Beauxbatons Academy travels in a massive enchanted carriage drawn by abraxan winged horses, requiring expert care and reflecting French grandeur. Durmstrang Institute uses a ship that emerges from beneath the water and sails directly to its destination, an example of transport adapted to environment and secrecy. In parts of Asia and the Middle East, flying carpets remain a staple. Unlike Britain, where they are banned as muggle artifacts, these regions prize carpets for their ability to carry families and heavy cargo. Their continued use highlights how magical law and culture shape which methods endure. International travel also requires regulation. Port keys are often arranged for large groups crossing borders, while apparition is restricted due to the risks of smuggling or unauthorized entry. Oversight by the International Confederation of Wizards helps keep magical transport hidden from muggles while maintaining safe, standardized practices. Together, these systems show how wizarding transport is far from uniform. Local needs, laws, and traditions produce diverse methods across the magical world. Several rare forms of magical transport exist outside the mainstream. One is the vanishing cabinet, which creates a direct link to its twin. A person can step into one and emerge from the other instantly. Its reliability depends on both cabinets being intact, as seen when the damaged Hogwarts cabinet was unusable until Draco Malfoy repaired it in Half-Blood Prince. Hogwarts also contains hidden passages that serve as localized transport. These routes connect the castle to Hogsmeade and other areas, recorded on the Marauder's map. While not official systems, they function as shortcuts and escape routes for those who know them. House elf apparition is another exception. Unlike wizards, elves can apparate across protective wards, including Hogwarts. This unique magic allows them to serve their masters in places humans cannot reach, demonstrating how non-wizard species use travel differently. Finally, enchanted objects sometimes serve similar roles. Sirius Black's two-way mirror allowed direct contact between him and Harry, while other devices create temporary magical links. Though not practical for daily use, these unusual methods reveal the creativity and loopholes within wizarding transport, existing as specialized or secret options rather than standard systems.